Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box of the Technical Trader at TechTrader.com. It is Thursday, the 21st of June. These are the charts of the day. Another difficult day on Wall Street, but we certainly had a good day on the trading room. Lots of stocks that we are watching are popping, and some are running nicely. Let's take a look at ABIL, for example, on an intraday pattern. You can see, first of all, the long-term downtrend. Now, this may be a reverse split. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't look like it, but the bottom line is today was an explosive move on 9 million shares, which is something like 10 times the volume, 10 times the outstanding shares. I believe that's what Andre said. Anyway, you can see the intraday pattern was a pop, pullback, pop, wedge, pop, long coil, and then breakout at the end of the day. Here it is, nearly 5 after hours, so this might very well follow through. And I do want to point out that it looks like a line of resistance comes in here around 586 range. This hike here being 595, and this one here was about 610. So something in that 595 to 610 range. I'll be talking about that tomorrow morning. But for right now, a long-term downtrend. With this kind of volume, it's a possibility that this is the beginning of something new. We got to get a fall through, and it's got to take out 6 just for starters. And then I'm looking at 10, 12, 14, etc. But let's not get ahead of ourselves on that one. HRTX with an explosive day today. Monster, actually. If you take a look at the overall structure of today's pattern, first of all, the way this big base breakout here, little wedge, pop, and a bigger wedge, then another pop and pullback. We've seen this a lot where stocks will pop, pull back, consolidate for a bit, and then move up again. I'm going to take this out, but there's the trend line, and there's your channel. Now, maybe at the top of that channel here, and it may need to relax for a bit. Looking at a long-term picture, though, this is also significant because this is a major, major, major 1-2 triple top. When we get through this level, this could very well be something even closer to, I would have to say, something in a high, mid to high 60s, something like that, as a possibility. This thing has a major move here. Let's keep close tabs on this one. But for now, though, it's a possibility we may back and fill if, in fact, this is the top of the channel. But with 11.3 million shares, and it closed pretty well. If you take a look at even though it pulled back on a 1-minute chart, it popped a wedge. It then popped and tried to get through, couldn't, and then drifted back down in what looks like some sort of flagging type consolidation pattern. Now, I like the fact that it held on an intraday basis this angle. And so what I'm going to be looking for, obviously, is a move back up towards 42.5. We can get through that. We're looking at mid-40s, maybe high 40s. SLDB, explosive. What I like about this one is that it popped and pulled back and then came down, but then had an inside day today. And the inside day on a decent volume, a little bit of a pickup in volume. For me, it looks like this one can make a move up, back up to, say, 50, 52 zone. Well, let's just keep an eye on this one and see if, number one, it can get through the 44.33 range. On a 15-minute basis, you'll see it. That's right here. And that should lead to higher levels. But for now, we'll keep an eye on this one as well. DRI, big day today for Darden, one of the bigger, if not biggest restaurant chain in the world. They own many, many different restaurants. After 4 or 5 years of basing, it finally broke out here. It's been running up in a beautiful channel. Looks to me like a 1, 2, 3, 4. This maybe is a 1, 2, 3, and this is 4, the entire pattern. Meaning that what I'm looking at in terms of a consolidation is something like this. And it appears that today's action, which was huge, has broken it out of that, and closing at the upper end of the range tells me this is going to 120, 25 range. BNED. Now, Barnes & Noble, the educational group, it says specialty retail. And I'm not sure that this is actually Barnes & Noble. I think Barnes & Noble has another group. But, yeah, I think BNS is Barnes & Noble. No. Hang on a sec. Just checking that for you guys. Yeah, BKS is Barnes & Noble. I thought so. This is Barnes & Noble, also coming out of a long-term downtrend, perhaps. It's at resistance. But the one I'm interested in is this one because of the pop and the breakaway gap above all the moving averages. And although it didn't close great, and it came off of this resistance here, I'm still thinking that support might be there. And so if it longs and backs and fills or holds in here for a day or 2 or 3 and then goes, this thing could pop right to these highs and test that $9 range. Beyond that, you're on your way to perhaps near 11. That would get me a test of something up in that zone. See it? AGMH, well, as you know, this new issue has gone bonkers. What I like about it, and we traded this a couple days ago, you can see the 4-day falling wedge, and today it popped. Now the volume picked up, and the OBV is holding up well. Take a look at a 5-minute chart. You'll see that late pop out of the coil. So what we'll be watching is if this gets any follow through tomorrow and it gets up towards 36.7, which would be a big move. That could, let's say for starters, we're going to do this. For starters, we're going to see if they can get across 32 and a half. We get above 32, 2 1/4, we can break it out to 36 and beyond. Something's going on there. But look at that falling wedge and breakout. That's what I like about it. APVO, well, another junior biotech that popped a wedge yesterday slightly and today followed through nicely. I'm looking on a longer term basis for this to get 7 3/4, 8 1/2 range. Now let's talk about some marijuana stocks because they had a great time today. Starting off alphabetically, well, this is not alphabetical. Hang on a sec. ACBFF. Now you can see that the wedge popped, couldn't get through the moving average, finally did pop through it and retested it. Now we're right up against this resistance. It looks like, with an increasing volume of 4.4 million, up almost 5% today, this stock might follow through and get up to 9-10 zone. That's my next target. An immediate target, secondary target. On a swing basis, 12. CAN popped out of its coil today and was up 34 cents. Now that's almost 9%. Your next target would have to be somewhere right about 475, and then a quick look at 5 3/4, 585. If it gets to that zone, then you're looking at almost 8. But this could be the beginning of a whole move on the group, so we'll have to keep tabs on it. And of course, our favorite CGC, what a nice move. And look at the volume on this. Now up 5 days in a row and accelerating. Volume is the biggest I've ever seen in the stock, including this peak here. So to me, this is breakout volume, not peaking volume. If you look at the long-term chart, yeah, I'm looking for big numbers on the stock. Right now, I'm looking for about 44. And of course, there's a channel here that if it doesn't get through here, as early as tomorrow, it could back off. But if it does accelerate, this might be 41.2 quickly. Long term, you can see where it might be. Cron, C-R-O-N, that's Kronos. Also came out of a wedge, 3 days up, volume increasing at resistance. Let's get this one up through the 8.15 range, and you're looking at $10 quickly. MEDFF, another stock in the marijuana group, has been acting even better than the others because of the rising channel. Falling wedge, pop. I think it sounds or feels like if this gets to 25, this is going to rip right into the high 20s, maybe 30 in that area. That's a look at some of the marijuana stocks. AMC Theaters. Well, you can see it pop to resistance today, and I put a swing on it. And once again, when you anticipate a breakout, it doesn't always work for you. This did back off a little bit, and it is up 4 days in a row. I want to show you intraday. There's your pop, and then it pulled back, but it closed pretty well. I'll give us the benefit of the doubt. I like the base pattern on it. I think the stock makes it up to 21.5 and then maybe 25. Those are my targets. And if this base breaks out, it could get going quickly. Moving down to cool. How about that, baby? Well, folks, when you get a monster move like that and then a long consolidation, when it does come out, sometimes it's powerful. The volume was good. And then we had that Citron article, which killed it. But note that it came right down to the channel bottom. It came to right to key lateral support. It did not break 24 3/4, 25, where I said put a stop in. It then blew through the highs at 33. This recent high 33.22, and it got all the way up to 41.22. That's 8 points above the prior high. If you step back and just look at this as a 1, 2, 3, I think it is. Some people will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I think that wave 3 was interrupted by the Citron report and it resumed. But nevertheless, a pullback to 25 all the way up to 41 at 16 points in 7 sessions. The stock's a little overbought. Now, I don't think it's overbought long term. I just think short term. And what I'm looking at is something up in that range. It may extend, and if it does extend, mid to high 40s, 50, something like that is my target. Don't be surprised though if it pulls back and retests somewhere in that 33, 35 zone for a setup to go into that $50 area. Long term, you know what I'm thinking. Fran, another restaurant chain. Restaurants in general are doing good. I was going to give you noodles today. Just take a quick look. NDLS. You like that chart? I do. NDLS. I'm going to throw it in there. NDLS, been a rising chain after breaking out of the base. Rising channel, excuse me. Coiled, pop, little pullback flag, and then boom. It's now above the channel, which means it might be accelerating. And look at the longer term. This stock is one-time trading at over 50. So the bottom line is, I think your next target is around 13.5, 3/4, and then I'm looking at something up in the low 20s. Well, I don't know about low 20s. Let's just say, give it a target around 16 3/4 and then 21. That's noodles. Fran, that's Francesca's Holdings, had a nasty drop from 22 all the way down to 4 and change, but it looks like it's reversed. It broke out of the resistance here, and it's right up against this area. Now, this needs to be watched carefully. I think that if Fran gets up through the 780.85 area, and it's right up at 782 today, any follow-through could get you up at much higher levels, and I would look for something around 9.5 and then 11.5. Excuse me, maybe more. HRTX, what a monster pop this had today. Let's take the 1-minute chart. Strong drug news, and the stock exploded, backed and filled, formed a large wedge. At that point, we thought this might be a trade, and it sure was. It popped from 37.5 to 42 and change, and then pulled back in a nice, orderly pullback channel. Only late in the day, right after hours, it started to pop a little bit. Keep an eye on this one, because I think through 42.5, this is a swing trade, and I'm looking at 58 as a target. Stitch Fix. Recent IPO that broke out of a wedge right up to the highs from December. I like this chart, and I like the possibilities of a breakout above 30 and a run to 34.5 first target. What I also like is that an inside day today, a pretty decent volume. Look at the OBV going vertical. I think it does not break down below 24.5, 25. And I think it runs to 34.5, 35 before it gets down there. Solid Biosciences. Exploded inside day. I may have covered this before. Bottom line is, this looks like a stock that wants to go back and test 55.6. We'll see. If it gets above that, bonkers. SMTC, this is our swing. When it broke out, I gave you a swing. And then popped and flagged and broke out again today. Didn't quite close as well as I'd like it to. I'm still looking for 55.6. Short term. Supernus finally popped a wedge yesterday and then followed through today. Didn't close great. Nevertheless, I'm looking for higher levels. My near-term target, 65.6. My secondary target, 72.3. Maybe as high as 80. Longer-term target, 90. Voyager popped out and pulled right back. The volume was 1.7 million. It did close up 6% despite the pullback of about $1.30 off the high. Nevertheless, I'm still looking for 26 and 30 as targets. And finally, Zyne, Z-Y-N-E, biotech that popped out of its base today. And it's not a heavily traded stock, but I would think you'd get something around 14.5, 15 next target. That would be right in that zone. If it goes ballistic, yeah, something up around 19.20. Keep an eye on this one. This could be a swing too. Biotechs are doing very well, but it's a weird market, folks. Very, very strange market, and I would put a lot of protection on, folks, every day. This is HB signing off. Have a great evening. I'll talk to you Friday.